There is another study focused on media's impact on the body dissatisfaction among females that can be found in the 2011 academic journal Psychology and Health by scholars Philippia C. Diedrichs and Christina Lee. The study Figure 1 is a simple slope analysis that displays the moderating impact of internalization (to incorporate the cultural values, morals, motives, etc. of another or of a group, as through learning, socialization, and identification) of cultural beauty, ideals, and the effect of model body size on a woman's body image state. The results of this simple slope analysis suggest that at high levels of internalization, women who saw average-sized models felt significantly better about their appearance than those exposed to no models, and those exposed to thin models. This comes to show that women feel more confident in their own body and that there is a decline in body dissatisfaction when the media and magazines feature fashion models who are not underweight. Average women and girls relate better to models who have similar body figures to them, and thus, average women and girls accept their own body image and do not try and pursue an ideal image that is often unreachable and unhealthy. Before the petite and frail body composition and fashion models became a popular and growing trend within media, the soft, fleshy, and curvy figure forms were greatly admired of women, especially during the 17th century. It is during this time that women with mounds of flesh were glorified and emphasized enormously, because they represented fertility, motherhood, and ultimately family life. Popular models of the 1600s included goddesses Venus and Diana, as they were frequently featured in valuable artwork painted by reputable artists. These models had a body mass index of over 30, a figure that today is almost antithetical to our conception of beauty and considered by medicine as a target for therapy. The transformation of body image ideals from round and plump women to ultra-thin women began in the 19th and 20th century when women were given more independence and freedom. As women gained the right to vote and access to birth control pills, they were no longer associated with their reproductive characteristics. Thus, women became glorified for maintaining a lean and slim physique with less visible curves because thinness now symbolizes sexual seductivity and strength, while fatness symbolizes laziness and loss of willpower. The perception that being fat means being associated with disease and medical complications, as well as unattractiveness and unhealthy lifestyle choices, leads to greater emphasis on slenderness. Fashion designer Jean Patou even claimed in 1925 that the Diana type is not beautiful in the mode of today. This is why ultra-thin models have come to represent our ideals of beauty and social perfection, and mimic the cultural values that have produced them and exemplify the success that sanctions conformity. All in all, the metamorphosis of the ideal woman follows the shifting roles of women in society from mother and mistress to career-oriented individual. With more women putting off motherhood and focusing on their education and work instead, the cultural trend of ideal beauty shifts from the nurturing soft body of a mother to a lean and slim body of an independent career woman. In addition to the shifting of cultural trends, a key player involved in exacerbating the problem and helping shape the fashion industry's preference for ultra-thin models above curvy ones was designer Jean Patou. A bold and innovative man, Patou was unafraid to stand out in his designs. He was very influential in the fashion industry in that he worked closely with high-profile photographer Edward Steichen, as well as the publisher and editor of New York Vogue, a popular magazine that played an increasingly central role in promoting the ongoing process in the field of fashion. In 1925, Jean Patou advertised in the New York Times that he was searching for the service of beautiful young American women who seriously desired careers as mannequins in his Paris atelier or designer studio. However, they must be slender with well-shaped feet and ankles. This request for thin models reflects the evolution of the ideal body type from round to tubular, especially since at the mannequin audition, the desirable American figure appeared to be one without hips. There seemed to be something about an American woman's petite frame that attracted Patou to them. He even claimed that the American woman is a charming creature because she is constantly active, taking up sports and other physical activities that allow her to remain youthful and retain a splendid figure. Thus, Jean Patou was tremendously influential in transforming the ideal body type of models from curvy to thin. Jean Patou's influence continued to change the dynamics of the modeling business. Before the 1920s, society looked down upon and denied acceptance of young women who worked as models due to the fact that modeling did not require any specialized skills. However, this started to change in 1924 when Jean Patou elevated the status of modeling and contributed to make it into a socially acceptable profession by carefully selecting white U.S. women to model his clothes. Patou was one of the first to employ tall and slim young American women, unlike other fellow designers of that time, such as Cristobal Valencia, who showed his clothes on short, stocky women, and Chanel will use herself and family members as models. Thus, Jean Patel laid much of the groundwork for the fashion industry's favor in employment of petite models. Soon after the 1950s, designers like Christian Dior followed in Patou's footsteps and hired young women with small, narrow waists. Reputable fashion designers, having already contributed to the problem by choosing skinny fashion models to display their garments, only further exacerbated the problem by choosing to ignore rules established in 2006 and 2008. The lack of enforcement of these certain regulations only encourages models to fixate on their body mass and figure. In 2006, Spain attempted to promote healthy body weight and discourage eating disorders like anorexia and bulimia by establishing the minimum requirement of a body mass index of 18 in order to participate in fashion shows. France followed suit when in April of 2008, a law that made it illegal to pressure women and girls to become thin through internet and media was presented by French legislators. Despite these good intentions and efforts, the problem neither declined nor improved. Instead, reaction against these two attempts arose from fashion designers as they were unwilling to trade in images of the super thin. One designer in particular is Diana von Furstenberg, president of the Council of Fashion Designers of America, who stated in an interview with People magazine that the truth is, in order to be a model, you have to be skinny. Von Furstenberg then commented on the rules established to prevent unhealthily thin models from participating in fashion shows, saying, "Do I think girls should line up and we measure their body fat? No." Initially, when the two regulations were introduced, there was also a lot of skepticism, as many people believed that the rules would not be enforced, and designer Diana von Furstenberg attested to the lack of enforcement. The authors of the obesity reviews observed that even with the restrictions in place, designers are still using size 0 models suffering from anorexia despite calls that they should be banned, as they encourage eating disorders in young women. The issue with fashion designers' preference for slenderness is that it encourages professional fashion models who are already below the average weight to continue with their extreme dieting, and that they can still partake in photo shoots and fashion shows. Fashion designers have a strong influence in the modeling business because their products are being showcased, and thus without their designs, fashion models, whose job it is to display their clothing, have no career. By failing to put into effect the rules and regulations, designers give the incentive that extreme dieting has no consequences for the models and that they can continue to partake in photo shoots and fashion shows.